I'm Colton Troxel, and I'm a biomedical major here at the College of Idaho. I have minors in psychology, music, history, and professional foundations. I'm from Middleton, Idaho. I kind of grew up in a military family, actually, so home for me is kind of all over the place. One of the main driving forces in my attraction to come here was the scholarships I had gotten and the opportunity to apply for scholarships. I knew that I was going to be given a little bit more space to pursue my studies and support myself outside of that. Outside of just my major, my minors have also set me up really well for getting ready to go to medical school. I kind of flourished with going to a school that provided a liberal arts education where I could actually do a lot of those different things. The faculty at this college make all the difference in the world. You can have great opportunities to attend a school, and the school can have great metrics on like getting into medical school or getting into law school, but the faculty are the foundation. And I can attribute a lot of my growth to Dr. Andrew Gaddis here at the college because he is my organ mentor. It wasn't that long ago. Now I've been playing organ for 3 years, and now I'm performing with string players, and organ now is my outlet. My father says that he doesn't know how I can fry my brain in class. I'm gonna go fry my brain again by playing the pipe organ. But a lot of times when I have heavy days, I take a break, I go play organ, and I still feel refreshed. And I'm glad that I get to do something like that. So I actually had a conversation with my father not that long ago. He couldn't imagine me having done what I did at any other university. The college is really, open arms to me and really helped me out in a way. And they didn't think I'd be going the direction I did, doing research and going to Mayo or even becoming an organist. My family's ecstatic about, who I've become here at the college. And I hope they admire what I've done.
Good evening, everyone. As you already know, my name is Colton Troxel, and I was given the distinct honor tonight of sharing a little bit of my story at the College of Idaho as a representation of one of the stories of the many other students that you might hear from the College of Idaho as well. So I didn't want to just talk about myself while I'm up here. I also wanted to give credit where credit is due to the professors and the amazing people at the College of Idaho have helped grow me into who I am today. But before I can even do that, I must explain a little bit of my background and where I am from. I was brought up in a Mexican-American Marine Corps household living in the small town of 29 Palms, deep in the Mojave Desert. And though 29 Palms was my home base, I had homes that stretched as far as the state of Washington to as far south of the state of Michoacan in Mexico. The only issue with this was that I was stretched thin between all of my homes, and I didn't quite feel like I belonged at any one of them. That is, until we moved. When my father medically retired from the Marine Corps, we decided to move back to the family home state here in Idaho, buying a small ranch just outside the city limits of Middleton. To this day, we have lived there for approximately 10 years, and I can confidently say that Idaho will forever be my forever home. And it's not because I have lived here for 10 years, but rather because I was able to become someone true to myself here in Idaho and really discover who I was. One of those things was allowing myself to really nurture my childhood curiosity in the biological sciences. And so it might have seemed that I would have wanted to go on to do veterinary sciences given that I had spent so much time on a ranch. But I decided I would rather become a physician. And so one day while talking to my grandfather, who was an alumni of the College of Idaho, he suggested I look into it. During his time, he knew that the college did an outstanding job at setting students off to graduate schools and medical schools. And so when I looked into this, he was still right. But one of the other things that really caught my eye about the College of Idaho was the liberal arts education. When I was in high school, I had keen interests in history and music, but I didn't want to abandon those interests just to study a single major, and I knew the College of Idaho would allow me to do such a thing. But when I looked across the board at all the colleges, whether College of Idaho or anywhere else, college was going to be quite unaffordable. In high school, I had started my own landscaping company and had planned to pursue and keep doing it throughout my entire academic career, and I did. But it wouldn't have been enough by itself to cover the entire cost of college, even on top of the family funds that I was graciously given. The defining factor and what made me go to the College of Idaho was the scholarships that I had received. And without those scholarships, I wouldn't have been able to afford to go to the college, and I don't think I would have attended either. So I enrolled at the College of Idaho, and despite only living 15 minutes away from campus, I had never visited before enrolling. When I got to college, after I settled in my freshman year, I made sure I hit the ground running just to make sure I was fulfilling all of the requirements for medical school as soon as possible. And one of those requirements is doing academic research. So following my freshman year, I did an intensive 3.5-week summer research fellowship under Professor Harvey. Now, at this time, I wasn't expecting to want to do any research longer than 3.5 weeks, but Professor Harvey was such an amazing mentor, and I had such an amazing summer that I was convinced to keep doing it. I had a natural curiosity for the neurosciences ever since I was a kid, and Dr. Daniels, my now sole mentor, focuses on glioblastoma multiforme, an aggressive form of brain cancer. And this was right up my alley and the kind of research that I would want to do. And so I joined his lab. In short, I could talk very long about my experiences in Dr. Daniels' lab, but I can, in a short way, say that I grew profoundly in his lab. And my research was very ambitious, and I got to meet a lot of great fellow researchers, and our research even took us as far as Anchorage, Alaska, where me and my close friend, Ruby Olvera, presented our most ambitious work. There, we presented in front of a giant crowd of data scientists, and to our surprise, we would leave that conference awarded Best Oral Undergraduate Presentation out of all of the Pacific Northwest students that were also presenting at this regional conference. Upon returning back to the College of Idaho, Dr. Daniels, Ruby, and I decided it would be best that we publish our results, and so we did. And just recently, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, Ruby and I were listed as co-first authors on our very first research publication, published to the Journal of Cellular and Molecular Neurobiology. At this point in my academic career and research journey, I knew I didn't just want to be a physician anymore. I wanted to be a physician scientist, bridging the gap between neuroscience research and translating it directly to the bedside of patients. While I was talking to another mentor of mine, Dr. Witcher, she knew exactly what direction to send me in. And so just this last summer, I traded my boots and jeans for dress shoes, slacks, and a tie, and found myself in a place that was really different from the College of Idaho and quite different from Idaho itself. I was at what seemed at the time the flattest place on the planet, Rochester, Minnesota. While I was there, I was working at the Mayo Clinic doing clinical neuroscience research under Dr. Rodolfo Savica, a movement disorder neurologist focused on Parkinson's disease and the genetic risk factors that implicate it. And throughout the entire summer, I knew that the research I was doing was going to go directly into patient care, something that I knew I wanted to do in the future. At the end of that research experience, Dr. Savica even invited me to return after I graduate, knowing that I would be applying to physician scientist programs and knowing that that gap was going to take a while and I needed to fill it with some sort of research. And so just recently, I accepted my official Mayo Clinic appointment as a temporary research professional to keep doing research in Dr. Savica's lab. Though I did have to trade a little bit of my formal attire, and if you were at the board meeting, you saw kind of what that actually looks like. It's everyday boots, jeans, button up, and a hat. Though I had to trade that in, I made sure to stay true to myself, and as Doug mentioned, I wore my hat everywhere in Rochester too, whether it was in the clinic or it was outside. Many of my colleagues and new friends that I made were from major institutions along the East Coast and major metropolitan areas. I was the first person from west of the Rockies that they had ever met. And so I wanted to make sure I brought a little bit of Idaho to them as well. So I took them to their very first rodeo at the Olmsted County Fair. The only issue with that is that I will be returning, and the Minnesota Cowboys, they suck. They're not nearly as good as the Idaho Cowboys, and it'll certainly be something I miss when I return. No matter what, though, whether the prestige of Mayo or the fact that the Minnesota Cowboys suck, I will always remember that the College of Idaho and the professors and the faculty were the reason I was able to do such an amazing experience, because without their mentorship, I would have never been able to do something like that. But aside from research, I had several other journeys at the college as well, and one of those being the musical one. In high school, I was a self-taught musician, teaching myself how to play accordion, piano, and rhythm guitar so I could obviously play my own country music. But When I got to the college, I wanted a little bit more of a formal training and more classical one. And so rather than picking an instrument that I could fit in my backpack or put in the basement of my house or something, I chose the pipe organ. If you know, those things sometimes don't fit in some buildings. So now I have to travel to campus to go practice, but that's okay. I can accredit almost all of my musical growth to Dr. Andrew Gaddis, who is both a professional mentor of mine and an organ mentor of mine. And if you don't already know, he is also Dean of Faculty at the college and sole professor of organ. Though organ became my main instrument, I didn't abandon my other instruments. And so on warm and sunny days, I'm invited out on the quad by Dr. Knickerbocker on his fiddle, Dr. Weiss on his guitar, and Dr. Brooks on the accordion, which he often lends me. And we will often just play and jam folk songs out in the quad between our busy schedules just to have fun. I have never had a single class with any of these three professors, but I think it is a profound example of what the College of Idaho stands for. Faculty across various different disciplines supporting me, a student in a discipline that had nothing to do with theirs. And I think all of the faculty at the College of Idaho stand by this. One of the other things that I wanted to do tonight was talk less about myself and really give some recognition to the amazing faculty on campus that have really shaped me into who I am. And so I'd like to thank of course, Dr. Daniels, Dr. Witcher, Dr. Gunderson, Dr. Pirtle, and Professor Harvey in biology, Dr. Thurston in chemistry, Dr. Jeff Snyder and Dr. Rachel Miller in history, Dr. Andrew Gaddis, and Dr. Thomas Posen in music. Because without their mentorship, I would not have gotten the well-rounded liberal arts education that I have. But it doesn't feel fair just to name a couple of professors, because I know that many of the other professors across campus have also had a profound impact on many other students' lives. And so I must thank the entire biology department, chemistry, history, psychology, music, and various of the other humanities that really cultivate the liberal arts education that we were all able to receive. But I was not able to have this education without all the people who are in here. The scholarships that I have been given were the reason that I attended the College of Idaho and are the reason that I know many other students were able to attend the College of Idaho. And so I'd like to personally thank Candy Dale for the scholarship that I have received and Catherine Albertson for that scholarship as well. I'd also like to thank a less recognized group of people who really support the students as well, and that being the alumni. In my case, Dr. Derek Erstad, a surgical oncologist at Baylor College of Medicine in Houston, Texas, has been personally mentoring me throughout my entire academic career, helping me really navigate the complexities of applying for MD programs and MD PhD programs. I know without the alumni and their help, many other students would be quite confused going off into their future careers. And so I would like to recognize that those alumni are also a profound help to many of us. And of course, finally, I would like to thank my parents, because my parents, I wouldn't be who I am without them, and they have been unconditionally supportive of me throughout my entire academic career and really through my entire life. And I truly hope that they know how much I love them and how much they have really helped me grow to who I am today. When I look back at everything that I have done and everything that my colleagues and friends have done at the College of Idaho, I recognize that none of it would have been possible without the faculty, the amazing faculty, I should say, at the College of Idaho, the alumni that support us, of course, everyone else at the College of Idaho, and finally, the scholarships that have allowed us to go to the college. I truly believe that these scholarships have allowed students to achieve a level of knowledge that they wouldn't have received anywhere else, and they would have been wasted potential if they hadn't had gone to the College of Idaho.